My name is Tuti. I am a professor at IFIM Law School. I am the Assistant Dean of Admissions and Outreach. Welcome to our video today on what is the role of lawyers in entertainment laws and media. The first movie you saw, when the Jedi took out their lightsabers and fought the Siths. We fell in love when Simran ran after train and caught Raj's hand. Can prosaic and sometimes boring law be behind these vivid moments? Today, we are going to discuss how law plays a critical role in the entertainment industry. We are going to focus on the role of copyright laws. Copyright protects expression. What do we mean by the term expression? It is how an artist or an author or a singer has conveyed themselves to you. During this lecture, I am conveying my thoughts in a certain manner using certain words to you. This is expression. There is no copyright in idea. Please remember that. So what all forms can copyright take? Copyright can be in a literary form. So examples of literary form, novels, books, content that you post on social media. These are all literary works. The way posters are made, the way they are depicting themselves, with photographs or with action, all of those also enjoy a separate copyright in and of themselves. What about the advertising? That also enjoys copyright. So movies are virtually a cornucopia of copyright, and it is upon us to ensure as lawyers that there is a protection attached to it. So how does one assert copyright? How does one say, I own this, I have made it, this is my creation? Well, it's a simple C in a circle, right? That is all that you need to do. Put your name, put the year, ta-da, that work is yours for life. Everybody knows you're the author, everybody knows you started this work, right? So when we look at the term copyright, or when you pick up a book, you will find the symbol. When you watch a movie, in the titles or on the poster, again you'll see this little symbol that will tell you who the owner of that work is. So now we have asserted our right. It's like putting your name on a notebook, right? I have put my name on this notebook. This notebook is mine, right? How do you protect your notebook? As in, how do you protect your copyright? When it comes to a notebook, we don't allow anybody to physically touch it, but copyright is intangible. It is protecting an expression. So when something is intangible, how do we protect it? Well, there are 4 methods by which we can protect copyright. 1, nobody can copy whatever is copyrighted. So for example, if I decide, oh, I love this song that Karan Johar has in his movie, I can't pick it up and play it in my movie willy-nilly. I need his permission. I need to request him allowing me or giving me the license to use his song. What about the other methods? I can stop anybody from creating illegal copies of my work. That's the second method. So there is a method of prohibition. There is a method of prevention, right? Now we come to the third thing. What if somebody imports my copies from another country? If my book is being published not only in India, it is also being published, say, in the United States, it's being published in United Kingdom, and somebody decides United Kingdom, the price is lower, they are just going to import all of those goods, those books into my country. I can prohibit that. So the ability to own copyright has 4 characteristic rights associated with it. 1, the right to own. 2, the right to enjoy and give it to somebody else in the form of a license, or decide to sell it to somebody in the form of an assignment. 3rd, stop anybody from copying it. 4th, stop anybody from importing it. These are the 4 essentials of a copyright. Now one might ask, how are copyrights going to work? Are they restricted to one country? Are they not restricted to one country? Well, copyrights are, kind of a paradox in that they are territorial and they are universal. What? So the law of copyright is territorial. in the sense, if a movie or a book is published for the first time in India, then copyright laws of India will be applicable to it. Now, if a copy of such a movie or a book were to go into, say, our neighboring countries like Nepal, like China, or like USA, because we have an international convention called the Berne Convention, they have to respect that copyright and not violate it. They cannot make copies of those movies or those books because that would be considered illegal. So, though copyright is territorial in nature, it is universal due to international conventions that are in place. Copyright is not just about asserting, there are a lot of contractual rights underlying it. Let me give you an example. Javed Akhtar was very famous for this because he actually fought for the rights of lyricists. Music industry, in specifically Bollywood music industry, was controlled by the record labels. There was a huge issue with regarding to that because they would make each of the lyricists completely assign, as in give away their right for a pittance. What was the right they were giving away? Their right over their lyrics. So now these rights were being taken away from the lyricists and they would get absolute pittance. Then started this era of caller tunes and ringtones having Hindi movie songs. So suddenly the amount of money that the record labels were making by licensing out music multiplied by 4,000 times. That's a lot of money. And not a dime of it was going to the lyricists who were walking around still with their torn chappals and their cholas. This was when Javed Akhtar decided and became a part of the Parliament of India. He became a member of the Parliament and fought that the current Copyright Act should lay down very clearly that lyricists can never assign away their right. They can only be asked to license it and claim a royalty. One might ask, ma'am, what is the difference between assignment and license? Assignment is where we are practically selling the property. So if you have a phone and you want to sell it to somebody, they give you a lot of money and they take the cell phone away. That is assignment. You can never claim any more rights over it. You can't say that cell phone is mine anymore. When it comes to your license, we are looking at a scenario where the license holder or the owner of the work is basically giving his work on rent. So if I own an apartment and I allow you to live in it, that is a tenancy. I haven't lost ownership of it. I'm merely allowing you to live in it. That is the equivalent of a license. So when we look at tenancy, it is the equivalent of a license. And license is where we earn royalty. So these were the rights that were fought for. And this is the background against which copyright law subsists. So what does the future hold for us? The 21st century is here. Movies are not restricted to theaters. Post-pandemic, well, there aren't any theaters to speak of. Everybody's gone OTT, right? So then what do we do? What are the rights associated now? Well, the contracts are still there. Copyright is still churning away. As lawyers, our jobs entail entering in, creating the contracts on the basis of which movie makers enter into distribution agreements, licensing agreements, so on and so forth. We also help our movie makers when they are caught in litigation. All of you might be familiar with censorship issues or issues where people are hurt or their sentiments are hurt by a particular movie. When those scenarios arise, again, litigating lawyers come to the fore and take those movie makers to the court. How does one land up in this particular field, which is media and entertainment laws? If you begin your law school by first reading up about intellectual property rights, that's a good place to start. The second thing you need to do is, of course, look at internship opportunities with intellectual property rights companies. There are copyright societies that also look for internships, offer internships, and they constantly are in need for interns. You can also look at working with movie theaters or movie labor unions because they also do have a lot of openings. But yes, location matters. You could try, make sure that you are in a location where you know the local language. Because if you have a movie industry or a theater industry in that particular segment, make sure you're aware of the language there, because most of the contracts do happen in that language. So you want to make sure that you're right there. You can also look at internship opportunities with OTT platforms. They are always open and available. A bit difficult to get in the first, second year, but you can aim for it definitely from the fourth and fifth year. In your first 3 years, for that, I would actually recommend, if you're specifically interested in this field, to work on internships with good IPR firms. That's a good place to start. Also, if you have a passion for movies, share it, blog it. That's a great way to get into the industry when you have eyeballs on whatever you say. So when we look at copyright law and entertainment law, right now there is a huge rise, because entertainment is not just restricted to movies, it's not just restricted to music. We have an entire new realm opening up with the OTT platforms, where again, contracts are becoming the core of the equation. The entertainment field is also one of the ones which was, even during pandemic, churning away. So when we look at media and entertainment laws, and especially entertainment laws here, we do realize that there is a lot of scope for lawyers. Budding lawyers like you can always join this profession, and it's an exciting field to study, because one day you're reading something about Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, the next day you're reading something about Star Wars, which makes it a fun subject to read. In case of any questions, please feel free to contact me through the LSAC. Thank you so much for having me here today. Bye-bye.